July on the Zhegu Grassland in western China marks the start of the best season of the year. It's the time when herders from near and far drive their animals to this vast pasture in the Shannon region of Tibet. The vegetation here is plentiful and lush. Every summer, thousands of yaks come to feed on the tender grass. The nearby mountains present a striking contrast. In the freezing cold and rarefied air, 5,000 meters above sea level, greenery is sparse. In this unforgiving environment of frigid temperatures and harsh sunlight, one particularly hardy species does thrive. These herbivores range in herds across the deserted valleys. Unique to the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, they are Tibetan wild asses. Asses were first domesticated 6,000 years ago. Today, there are very few species of wild ass anywhere in the world. Among them are the Asian and African wild asses. Of 6 subspecies of Asian wild ass, one has become extinct. China is home to 2 subspecies, the Tibetan wild ass and Mongolian wild ass. Of all wild asses, the Tibetan wild ass is the largest, but their size doesn't impair their agility. They can gallop at speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour. As they race across the ground, they disturb the plateau pikas, which poke their heads out of their burrows and gaze around curiously to see what's happening. It's time for the wild asses to change coat. They are shedding the thick covering they need for the harsh winter. Tibetan wild asses are gregarious creatures. They form small herds, led by a male. This is the breeding season. The scattered herds are converging to form a great host. The males are competing for a mate. The fighting can be ferocious. Each is trying to drive its rivals out of the herd and claim the privileges due to the leader. With each clash, another forlorn figure is banished to the valley. Old and frail, they have been forced out. It's a chaotic time. When to keep their young out of harm's way, the mothers are particularly vigilant and insist they stay within sight. A lustful male is on the rampage, charging towards the herd. The intruder's remarkably strong physique deters the other males from intervening. As the herd scatters, he pursues a mother and baby. The foal sticks close to its mother, maintaining a steady trot. The foal needs to adapt quickly to the harsh environment on the plateau. They get to their feet as soon as they're born and learn to run in order to escape predators. The rampaging male, unchallenged, is determined not to let the mother escape. There's no sign of the father. But the mother refuses to yield. She spurns her pursuer time and again. She can only hope he doesn't decide to take his anger and frustration out on her young foal. Thankfully, the intruder soon loses patience and gives up the chase. The mother has escaped for now. But such incidents are daily occurrences. If the foal's father is unable to protect them, the mother will have to find a stronger mate. On the snow-covered highland, it's the fittest who survive. The highland climate is fickle. A downpour can start without warning. Washed by the rain, the Zhegu Grassland extends to the horizon like a giant carpet. In the distance, Zhegu Lake lends a colorful vibrancy to the lush patch of land. Zhegu Lake is a natural highland reservoir on the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau. Nestled amid the grassland, it nourishes a vast area of fine pasture. It's an ideal source of water for the herders and their animals. It's also a paradise for wildlife. A herd of asses appear on the grassland's edge. They need to be careful since there are villages nearby. While they're grazing, the wild asses rotate sentry duties. They've traveled many miles from the mountain valley to reach this area inhabited by humans. The lush vegetation and abundant water are a powerful magnet for these herbivores. But there are also people and their dogs here, as well as thousands of yaks. The wild asses are patient. They're considerate guests. As the yak herd spreads out and the herders return to their tents, the wild asses edge their way towards the heart of the pasture. Each ass knows its role, with the males at the front shielding the foals. They move, one after another, in an orderly fashion. The human residents of the grassland are used to these uninvited guests. The asses are now at the heart of the pasture, where the vegetation is especially rich. They are enjoying a bounty of the grassland, just as the yaks do. The wild asses stay close to the water for most of the daytime. In the evening, they'll gather and retrace their route back to their habitat in the valley. Shannon, where the grassland is located, is known for its rich history and culture. It was the birthplace of Tibetan civilization. There's evidence of human activity dating back 40 to 50,000 years in the Yalong area. Shannon covers a vast area. It contains extensive alpine grassland, magnificent shimmering lakes, and dense primeval forests. The rich biodiversity has made it an ideal habitat for many wild animals. Throughout history, the human settlers here have regarded nature with awe and respect and learned how to live in harmony with it. This temple dates back over 1,000 years. Perched on the mountaintop, it overlooks a precipitous cliff. In the depths below lives a mysterious species of pheasant. Noted for its bright plumage, here the tiny vanishing population lead a reclusive existence in the mountains. But they often deign to visit the ancient temple. They are Himalayan monals, and many people travel hundreds of miles to catch a glimpse of them. At dawn, the mountains around Kaju Temple look like a fairyland wreathed in clouds. Here, among the southern Himalayas, this area 3,000 meters above sea level enjoys a humid climate and rich vegetation. Heralded by the nutcracker's call, on a patch of grassy land between the temple and the cliff, an animal jamboree gets underway. The female Himalayan monals first appear. It teeters on the edge of the cliff, nervously eyeing the surroundings. Before daybreak, they were out looking for food with their chicks. This is the breeding season, when the safety of their young is the priority. Two males have also arrived. As this isn't the mating season, the birds are living in single-sex groups. On the top of each male's head is a crest of long bluish-green feathers, textured like velvet. Its multicolored plumage has a shifting rainbow-like sheen. These are stunningly beautiful birds. The clouds and mist billow up the cliff, only to be blown away by the wind. Two red gorals have ascended the slope. They look around guardedly and only relax after confirming the absence of any danger. Red gorals are first-rate rock climbers. Mostly, they live on steep slopes in deep valleys that are inaccessible to humans. Due to their small population and limited living space, the species wasn't identified and named until 60 years ago. A red goral intrudes on the patch of grass where the Himalayan monals have gathered. The appearance of the uninvited guest seems to have frightened the birds. They send repeated signals to their young, urging them to head to the woods and take cover. The males seem less alarmed by the arrival of the huge intruder. They're clearly regulars here who've all learned to get along. After a brief stopover, the red goral abruptly vanishes. With the red goral gone, the snow pigeons circling overhead descend to the grass. It's a large flock, and they quickly occupy a large piece of turf. But the arrival of more snow pigeons alarms the Himalayan monal males. The pigeons beating their wings sound like approaching predators. This never fails to alarm the Himalayan monals. They take fright and quickly retreat towards the safety of the woodland. Two blood pheasants have been lurking. They've arrived late, with the area already occupied by snow pigeons. All they can do is watch from a distance. This rare gathering of wildlife draws to an end with the snow pigeon's departure. Living hidden among the mountains, these shy creatures are rarely seen by humans. But in a brief space of time, they have, one after another, strutted like models on a runway. It's as if this ordinary-looking patch of grass possesses some magical power. Yet among the local human inhabitants, this apparently remarkable event hardly raises an eyebrow. The Tibetans who are native to this area are attuned to nature and are always respectful in their interactions with it. When the snows come in winter, the animals in the valley struggle to find food. The monks in the temple scatter grain on the patch of grass. This helps the wildlife through the hard times. Now, more and more animals are frequenting the spot. They trust the humans, and the humans trust them. And this small patch of turf has become a safe place for them to gather. Summer is coming to an end, and the Zhegu Grassland is turning yellow. The wild asses have shed their thick dark coats and are a smooth reddish-brown. After a season of watering and grazing, they've grown bigger and stronger. The rivalry for a mate is over. Instead, the herd are quite affectionate. They follow the same route every day. The routine remains the same. First, the tentative approach to the edge, while carefully observing the surroundings. Then they form a line and file towards the heart of the grassland. In front of the herds of yaks and wild asses are a newly arrived pair of black-necked cranes. They appear lonely and helpless. This is the only crane species that breeds on the plateau. Tibetans have a special fondness for the black-necked crane and regard it as an auspicious bird. Over the centuries, people living on the plateau have developed a friendly relationship with these birds. The two cranes have been lurking for days at the periphery of the grassland. They've been assessing the lie of the land, but haven't dared move farther onto it. Finally, they act. They're always vigilant, but they're not afraid of the local residents, who have never done them any harm. As for the herds of yaks and wild asses, though, will they take kindly to the birds? The leading crane issues its distinctive high-pitched cry to urge its partner to follow while staying on the alert. All seems well. The pair reach the central zone. The appearance of the two birds has piqued the curiosity of a yak, which subjects them to a lengthy stare. Now more assured, the cranes are no longer fearful of the yaks. With the exception of natural predators, animals always find a way of getting along. However, the black-necked cranes have lowered their guard too soon. Something unexpected happens. A disgruntled yak has decided to vent its spleen on the two birds. Newcomers to any place need to learn the art of compromise. When tempers begin to fray, it's always wise to avoid confrontation. With the summer grazing season nearing an end, the Zhegu Grassland becomes more crowded. Some new friends have arrived from far away. The bar-headed geese occupy the shallow waters in the heart of the grassland. The Zhegu Grassland isn't their final destination. They're having a stopover in order to re-energize. Then, these migratory birds will resume their long journey. The plump geese, though they appear clumsy, have the ability to fly at a higher altitude than any other birds. Every year they make a round trip across the Himalayas, the roof of the world. High up on the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, animals must learn to adapt. The bar-headed goose has a unique feature, allowing it to survive in the harsh environment. Flying in the rarefied atmosphere, its blood undergoes an important change. The chemical composition alters in such a way that the goose's inhalations secure a greater amount of oxygen. Thanks to this distinctive breathing technique, the bar-headed goose has conquered the highest mountain range on Earth. The chilly autumnal wind announces the imminent end of the summer grazing season. The Zhegu Grassland will soon be dormant. As the grass yellows and the water freezes, the Tibetan wild asses will embark on another brief migration. In the search for the next oasis, the wandering herds, in the course of a year, trudge across the whole plateau. The highland creatures long ago developed the wisdom and skills to survive here. That they're thriving and multiplying in the frigid climate is thanks to the space and freedom they're afforded by the snow-covered land and the humans who've lived here for generations.